Entrepreneurship, a space that gives voice to the young who develop projects on their own.
And it's now 12:24 on the clock, and we have a special guest here, and he's going to introduce himself to you. Hello, sir.
Hello. Well, thanks for having me. First of all, my name is Helder Philip. I'm an executive mentor and global speaker. I wanted to summarize that I'm here to help and always add significant value.
Okay, Elder Philip, who is a mentor, and how is this activity here in Angola? Is it difficult to be a mentor here in Angola?
I would say it's a bit hard because I work a lot like with people's mindset, try to empower their mindset in order to help them think differently, and overcome all the obstacles, all the fears, and mainly because I'm the founder of the global movement for mentoring, career mentoring, business mentoring, Help Me Elder Philip. So the thing about it is that I do think global, even though I act local. So to bring the same mindset from let's say all over the world to Angola, it's not an easy thing, but it's not impossible either. So yeah, from time to time we do this kind of I would say this kind of activities, in order to help people. So, and I think that people are more open than ever, and they start to understand the importance, and to open their mind and come with open mind and open heart.
And when did you start this movement? You said that you are the founder. You're the founder of this movement. When did you start?
Well, officially it was in 2020. During COVID, I started going live more often, actually, on my Facebook account, Helder Philip, and also because of the pressure that I was actually, receiving from other people, because people need help, right? So people were always asking me, Helder, you need to officially launch this global movement. People need your help, and people need to hear from you. I understood that, even though it was a tough time, a tough year. Unfortunately, in 2020, I lost my mom.
Oh, we're sorry to hear that.
No problem. I know she's actually resting in peace. So I decided that it was actually the time to move forward and start helping more people. It's not only because I speak fluently 3 languages, and which allows me to help people.
What are they?
Oh, we talked about Portuguese, of course, because I'm proudly Angolan. Yeah. And we also talked about English and French.
Oh, good.
So let's say officially in 2020, and we started doing the mentoring programs in 2021.
Okay, and do you have a big team?
Not really a big team, because I don't really need a big team. But even though I consider all my mentees, my clients, all of them as partners, because
and how many are you?
We're a team of 4.
Okay.
And maybe you ask me why. You wonder why. We are only 4.
Exactly, yeah.
And not everybody in Angola, actually, because yes, we do love and we value the local content, but at the same time, we do have Angolans out of Angola, abroad, right? And not only Angolan, because as I said, it's a global movement, so we need to serve people in different parts of the world.
Okay.
And in different languages. We are actually more focused not in all the 3 languages that I speak, even though I do consulting in 3 languages, but mostly in English and Portuguese.
Okay, and do you have partners overseas?
I do have what we call proteges, in different countries. Now, people that they're not my employees, just like collaborators. Sometimes they organize workshops, and I usually participate. The thing is that we want to empower people so they get out of where they are right now, stuck, to where they potentially would like to be. And it all starts with working their mindset, giving them clarity, and help them understand the true value they can add in the marketplace, their mission, their purpose in life. And I think that that's the top thing, is that we teach them, empower them on how they can monetize wherever they love and they're good at online and offline guaranteed. So that's the purpose, because
And how many people have you been helping here in Angola?
in Angola, hundreds of people. Like we're talking about mentees in 2022. By the way, I think it's important for me to summarize to highlight that.
Yeah, go ahead.
We offered like different mentorship scholarship
Okay.
because we wanted to help even like university students. Like we noticed that people struggle with two things. I would call it two categories. We talked about the mindset, which is the way they think, the way they, which impacts the way they do things and what they do actually.
Yep.
And then the other category is actually about the communication, the strategic communication. People really struggle with communication. They're scared to ask questions.
Yep.
They're scared to, ask questions, to validate information. So what happens? They make a lot of mistakes. So, and when I talk about the strategic communication, I'm actually talking about, because it's really important to detail, to summarize what actually I'm talking about. We talked about the sales closing, the ability of people, the skill of closing a sale. It's not about manipulation. It's actually about being honest, having integrity with you.
Okay.
So persuasion, of course, is part of that, and the ability to negotiate effectively. We have companies losing money because they did not know how to negotiate properly. The teams in the contract team, they did not negotiate properly. They did not pay enough attention to the details in the contract. So
Okay.
after a while, they lose money. We talked about the marketing. What's the message that goes to your market? And of course, above all, we talked about the public speaking, which is one of the biggest fears, not to say the biggest fear in people's lives. So
Yeah.
we overcome all of that.
Okay. So do you work mainly with people individually or with companies?
Both, actually. I do have, because let me just say, okay, it's not about marketing or publicity, but we actually split a little bit because we do have the Candidate for Success, which is a program actually focused in career, because I have over 15 years of international experience in oil and gas industry.
Okay.
So I've been using all these experience, and I have invested significantly in my career, in myself, because I've learned early in my career that if I do not know better, I cannot do better. So
Exactly.
I invested in myself. This is what I actually recommend people to do. This is the best investment. By the way, Warren Buffett, who is considered, one of the biggest investors in the world, that's his advice as well. Invest in yourself. That's the best investment. So we do have this program which helps people. Like a lot of people struggle even to have the CV. They don't know how to talk about themselves. They don't know who they are, the value they can actually add in the marketplace.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you want to be like an entrepreneur, if you want to be a professional, you build a career, you need to talk about yourself. So they don't know how to handle objection interviews, job interviews. They usually fail. Even if they like it to be invited for an interview, they fail. So we said, no, it's enough. We need to overcome. We need to help these people. So the other program, which is SIM, just if you don't mind, can you repeat SIM?
Sim.
Yeah.
Okay.
SIM is speak.
How do you spell that? How do you spell?
SIM.
Oh, SIM. Okay.
Yeah, it actually works in both languages, Portuguese and English, because
Okay.
SIM stands for Speak, Impact, and Monetize.
Okay. Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really matter what you're good at. If you cannot communicate, if you cannot speak to a large audience,
Yep.
and impact this audience, and then by the end you can monetize wherever you do, it's like you fail as a businessman, as an entrepreneur.
Yep. Great. And we're still talking to Elder Philip, who is a mentor. We are discussing different things here with him, and it's been really interesting indeed. And it's now 12:33. Let me remind you that you can listen to us at www.rna.ao, and there you should select RNA International so that you can listen to us in English, Lingala, French, and or Portuguese. So, Mr. Philippe, how long have you been here in Angola?
Oh, I came back to Angola in 2016 officially after a long journey, a tough one, but which I'm very, very proud of because I was representing a big project, actually an Angolan project overseas, which took me like pretty much everywhere in the world.
Okay.
I was living in Europe, in Paris, by the way, in France. But yes, I was always, traveling, serving, adding value, significant value. Singapore, Indonesia, and, pretty much all over the world.
And where did you get the mentorship skills? Did you get them here in Angola or somewhere else?
No, not here, actually. Let me tell you, I'm a mentor, and I do have a mentor as well.
Okay. Oh, you have a mentor as
yeah,
well.
I keep telling people
come
that.
on.
Yes, because...
How interesting.
Oh, yeah, because it's like... I know people really have a hard time to talk about it and to realize that we all need a mentor.
Okay.
We look at Michael Jordan. We look at all these big players in the NBA, for example. Why do I speak about basketball? I used to play basketball.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
they use all of them. They have mentors because it's someone who's actually going to help you keep focused, hold you accountable, and someone who's been there, done that, and can actually show you the way, the path for you to succeed. This is very important for the people listening to us right now, that we all need a mentor at some point, at some field in our life.
And, you spoke about basketball. Did you used to play it professionally, or you were an amateur player of basketball?
Actually, I did both because I actually grew up playing basketball. I first started at the Villa Clotilde club. Mm-hmm. Then I played a little...
They still around?
Yeah, they're still around, right?
Yeah.
I played a little bit for Petro, Luanda. Then at senior professional level, it was only one season actually because I had to make a decision, right? I wanted to pursue my actual dreams. And, I had to mitigate the risks at the same time, because the reality in Angola is kind of tough.
Yeah.
If you want to play and if you want to be really, really smart. Not saying that all the basketball players are not smart, but it's like by the end of the day, it's actually a choice that we have to make, right? So I wanted to pursue, my studies and get professional experience.
Okay.
So I played with at Kodua only one season.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I
think it was enough.
All right. Okay. Mr. Philip, what's the difference between a coach and a mentor?
What's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference between them?
That's a very interesting question. I get that all the time, right? Well, let me just try to summarize. A coach is someone with specialized knowledge. Let's say maybe a consultant sometimes. He has a specialized knowledge, It does not mean that the person has all the experience. This is very important to summarize, to highlight. Because a coach, let's say I can go do a coaching training, okay? I get really good at it. I know how to work with people. I understand the human behavior and everything. Very good. But on the other hand, a mentor is someone who's been there, done that. Someone with a proven record and experience in that field necessary. People ask me all the time, how can you mentor people from different walks of life? People with different profession. We talked about HR consultants, CEOs, leaders, big leaders, medium level leaders. Mm-hmm. Because I usually focus on the mindset, the clarity on the mission, and the communication, the strategic communication. So you basically use communication everywhere, in everything you do, right?
Yep.
If that makes sense to you.
It does.
So the mentor has experience, and the mentor can also do coaching because he not only has the experience, but has the skills and the knowledge, and he transfers the knowledge, which is technique. I need to highlight that as well to everybody listening to us. What I know, it's not about talent. It's about skills. It's about technique, and technique is transferable. I can transfer as I've been doing that.
Yep.
Okay, but let me tell you that both are important. We talked about coaches, mentors. Both are important. It really depends on the people who needs help, which kind of help the people need. Then so they can actually make the right choice.
Okay. And do you really need to train to be a mentor?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Like when you say train, I'm talking about, I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I understand that you need to have the experience, you need to learn, you need to implement so you can grow. And if you
Okay.
grow and you look back, there's always someone there behind you who is willing to get what you got. So you need to help those people.
Okay.
That's what happens.
Okay. And where can people get this training?
We do have a website. I know sometimes people really struggle to access websites, but still, I'll give you my website, which is helpmeelderphilip.com. Let me try to spell it.
Okay.
HELP
Okay.
MEHELDER FILIPE.com.
Okay.
Or
Very
maybe it's
clear.
easier for them to reach out to me
Yeah.
or my team through my Instagram. It's really easy. Elder Philip Mentor.
All right.
Do you want me to spell it?
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, Elder Philip, is there anything else that you'd like to mention? Is there anything else that I didn't ask you, and you feel like talking about that?
Sure. As I said, as I mentioned earlier in this interview, this conversation, I'd rather call it a conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
And I want
indeed.
everybody who's listening to us, to understand that we're here to help and add significant value. I'm proudly Angolan, as I have mentioned. Yes, I was
Great.
born in Angola, and I'm proudly Angolan. And my advice is that people really struggle because they don't have enough clarity on what they really want and what they were born to do, and the type of value they can actually add. And they think that they do not need a mentor, a coach, and then they spend 10, 15 years most of the time, just to figure out one thing that someone else has already figured out. So my advice is really invest in yourself, but I want to go more into detail. It's like when I say invest in yourself, it's like, let's say you're a finance controller. Let's say someone else is an engineer. I'm actually an engineer.
Okay.
Despite your profession, your career, you need to work on your mindset, because the way you think, I always talk about it, because you should not focus on doing or having. We should focus on being. Who you are, be, then do, because who you are depends on how you think, and it influences what you do and how you do it, right?
Okay.
Then, which is why I said be, do, then have. You will have what you really want to have. You've never had, as long as you are transformed. You invest in who you are, the way you think, so you do things that you never did, so you can actually have what you never had. So people need to understand the importance of investing in yourselves to work on mindset and the strategic communication. That's why, despite the fact that some people really choose to become an entrepreneur, others say, well, I'm really happy with my career. I'm just going to pursue my job. Good. And my career. That's very good. But the thing about it is that they will struggle, because what do you do when you have to do a presentation PowerPoint for, let's say, for the corporate executives at work? You need to sell information.
Yes.
If you don't know how to communicate strategically, because a confused mind can never buy nor sell, because it doesn't make sense, right? So if you do not know how to articulate your ideas and structure it, communicate in a very strategic way, you don't go that far, because people do not understand you. They do not understand the value that you can actually add, and they do not understand your point and where you're coming from. So invest in your mindset and your strategic communication, which is very, very, very important to detail, which is the ability to close a sale, the ability to negotiate, the ability to market yourself and your products or services, and above all, yes, the public speaking, because the more successful you are, people really want to hear from you. They want to know what you're about. So what's your story? There's no shame to talk about your story. I had a dream when I was 9 years old. I used to tell my parents, I will have to learn English because I learned
Okay.
English in Angola, by the way. This is very important to say.
Oh, you learned English here.
I
in
learned.
Angola.
I started learning English in Angola when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
You know, and I was a troublemaker when I was young. Oh yeah,
Okay.
just like they say in French, l'enfant terrible.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
who I was. But
Yeah.
I told my parents and my brothers, I'm the fourth of 8 boys, by the way, 8 kids, only
Okay.
boys.
Okay.
I need to learn this language because I need to travel the world and speak to millions. Everybody was laughing at me and said, "Oh, come on, he's just making like he's just joking."
It's
I was
joking.
not joking. I was very serious, even though I did not have enough clarity, the clarity that I have today. But I say, no, I do feel that this is my purpose. I insisted. I managed to convince my mother, which was one step closer to convince my father,
Okay.
who's still alive, thank God. Big leader. And then I started my journey when I was 9 years old. And that made all the difference in my life. It allowed me to make my career international, to work for big companies in the world and travel the world as well. Which is why now I am the mentor I am, who I am today. I mean, always learning. I'm hungry for learning. And one of the best ways to learn is actually empowering people, adding significant value and help them, people, companies, to do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all, Mr. Philippe? Is that all?
Is there?
Is that all? Is that all?
I think it's pretty much that. And also be careful with the distractions, because the only lecture of the unsuccessful people is actually the distractions. People need to focus.
Okay.
They do not need, maybe people listen to us right now, they already have a mentor, they have a coach. It does not mean, I'm not sure, I'm not talking about for them on their behalf, but maybe they like what they're listening, they're hearing now, and they will say, okay, I'm just going to switch and get Elder Philip to be my mentor. We coming with open heart and open mind, but people need to focus and know why do you need a mentor and who's the right mentor for you. It's someone who you resonate with, who you see doing something that you love to do, because people listen to everyone.
Yep.
And then they get stuck on the way, like they get really stuck and they don't know what to do because they want to consume everything. And I don't think we do have that much time. It's a hard decision, but it needs to be done, to be made. You need to choose the right mentor for yourself.
All right, Mr. Elder Philippe, thank you very much for coming in. It was a real pleasure to have a chat with you, and we'll be counting on you on other occasions as well.
Sure. Thanks for having me, by the way, and it's my pleasure to be here as long as you need me here to add significant value and help. That's why it's Help Me, Elder Philip, the name of the company.
All right, great. So that was a conversation with Elder Philippe, who is a mentor, and the gentleman is really proud to be Angolan, and I was really glad to hear that. I was over the moon to hear that, owing to the fact that there are too many people living in Angola. And Mr. Philippe is highly qualified. He's a good guy and he's willing to stay here, and it's good indeed. So let's stay now with some music, and after that we'll be bringing you arts and culture.
On to apprenticeship, a space that gives voice to the young.